My beloved child, listen closely. This message did not arrive by accident. What you are about to hear is not ordinary encouragement, not imagination, and not coincidence. Heaven itself has leaned in your direction. Someone you are not expecting is coming to your door, and this visit carries a miracle that will shift everything you thought was fixed. Do not laugh this off. Do not scroll past it. The timing of this word is sacred, and the window is narrow. Hear this clearly. This is not just about a physical door. It is about access. It is about an entry point that God Himself has prepared. You have been asking, praying, wondering when things would finally change. You questioned whether your tears were seen, whether your patience mattered, whether the delays meant denial. But today, the Lord says the delay was protection, and the silence was strategy. I speak now under the authority and covering of Archangel Michael, the defender, the messenger of divine timing. His presence surrounds this message with urgency and truth. He is standing watch because what is approaching your life is opposition, but it will not be stopped. What God has assigned to reach you has already passed resistance in the unseen realm. This visit will come in an unexpected form. It may not look holy at first glance. It may arrive through a person you underestimated, a knock you did not plan for, a message you almost ignored, or a conversation that seems ordinary. But inside this moment is a key. Inside this encounter is alignment. Inside this visit is a miracle that rearranges your future. God says you have been preparing without realizing it. The prayers you whispered when you were tired, the obedience you chose when no one was watching, the restraint you practiced when you wanted to react, all of it has been counted. Heaven has been taking notes. And now, the response is being released. Do not assume you already know how this will happen. Your expectations are too small for what God is about to do. You thought the breakthrough would come one way, but the Lord says, I am entering through another door. A miracle is not coming the way you imagined, because if it did, you would try to control it. This way only God gets the glory. Archangel Michael is making this clear. There has been a battle over access to you. Distractions, delays, exhaustion, and doubt were sent to keep you from recognizing the moment when it arrived. That is why this message feels intense. That is why your spirit feels stirred. Something in you already knows this is real. This visit will expose something that have been hidden. It will bring clarity where there has been confusion. It will connect dots that never made sense before. And most importantly, it will shift your position. You will not be standing where you were before this moment. After this encounter, certain doors will no longer close because you will no longer fit into old limitations. God says, do not rehearse disappointment. Some of you learned to expect less because waiting was painful. You told yourself not to hope too much so it would not hurt again. But heaven says hope is required now. Faith is required now. This miracle responds to expectancy, not fear. Pay attention in the coming days. Be spiritually alert, not anxious. This is not about watching the door all day. It is about being ready in your heart. Speak kindly. Stay humble. Stay open. The person God uses may not even realize they are carrying your answer. They are simply obeying a nudge. Archangel Michael declares protection over this moment. No counterfeit will replace it. No delay will cancel it. No interference will confuse it. What God has scheduled cannot be rescheduled by doubt or mockery. That is why you were warned not to laugh this off. Mockery closes spiritual eyes. Discernment opens them. This visit is connected to restoration. Something you thought was lost, broken, or wasted will suddenly make sense again. God does not waste seasons. He purposes them. The miracle coming to your door carries restoration power, not just relief. You will look back and realize this was the turning point. Not loud, not dramatic, but precise, strategic, divine. And hear this final word for now. When the moment comes, respond with peace, not panic, with faith, not suspicion, with gratitude, not fear. Heaven is behind this. Archangel Michael stands guard over what is approaching you. And nothing will arrive late. If this stirred something deep within you, then your spirit is already recognizing the sound of approaching footsteps. Beloved soul, something subtle but powerful is already shifting around you, even if your natural eyes cannot see it yet. The atmosphere is changing. The spiritual pressure you have been feeling lately is not random. It is the sensation of alignment. Heaven is arranging circumstances, conversations, timing, and emotions so that when this moment arrives, you will not miss it or mishandle it. God says this visit will test your discernment more than your faith. You are strong in believing, but now you are being trained in recognizing. Not everything sent by God arrives wrapped in comfort. Sometimes it comes disguised as interruption. Sometimes it arrives when you are tired, busy, or mentally somewhere else. That is why the Lord is speaking now, ahead of time, so your spirit will be awake when your mind is not expecting anything. Archangel Michael's presence remains close in this season because spiritual thresholds are guarded places. Whenever God is about to shift someone's life, resistance tries to create confusion. You may notice old thoughts resurfacing, memories trying to distract you, or a sudden urge to isolate yourself. Do not withdraw. Isolation weakens awareness. Stay connected, stay grounded, and stay present. This is not the time to assume you already know people's intentions. God warns against premature judgment. The one carrying your miracle may not look like the answer. They may even carry flaws, history, or a personality that clashes with yours. But remember, God often hides destiny in ordinary vessels so that pride does not interfere. Listen more than you speak. Observe more than you react. There is also a reason this encounter is happening now and not earlier. If it had come before, you would have mishandled it emotionally. You might have rushed it, questioned it, or rejected it out of fear. Growth has prepared you. Patience has refined you. Silence has strengthened you. What once would have overwhelmed you will now empower you. God said this visit is connected to a divine exchange. Something will be offered, revealed, or unlocked. It may be information, an opportunity, reconciliation, or guidance. Do not measure it by size, measure it by impact. Small moments can carry massive consequences. A simple conversation can alter an entire timeline. Archangel Michael emphasizes protection again because after this moment, your direction changes. And whenever direction changes, opposition notices. But you are not exposed. You are covered. This is not a season of fear but of awareness. Walk confidently, not cautiously. Confidence honors God's preparation. Now hear this carefully. Respond authentically. Do not perform. Do not pretend. Be yourself. The miracle attached to this visit responds to honesty. God does not need you polished. He needs you present. The version of you that survived the waiting is the one He intends to use. If this message is already stirring clarity within you, take a moment now to engage. Like this video so the message reaches others who need this warning. Share it with someone who may be standing on the edge of a breakthrough without realizing it. Leave a comment if this resonates with your spirit, because your testimony creates agreement in the atmosphere. And if you have not subscribed yet, do it now so you stay connected to what God is releasing in this season. Join the channel membership if you feel led, because deeper messages are being prepared for those who are ready to go further. This is a living word, not a one-time message. Interaction strengthens impact. God also says not to over-spiritualize the moment. Stay practical. Stay wise. Miracles do not cancel responsibility. They complement it. Be on time. Keep your word. Stay disciplined. Obedience keeps doors open longer than excitement ever could. Something else is important. You not announce this prematurely. Some blessings grow best in silence. Let the fruit speak later. Guard what God is doing privately until it becomes publicly undeniable. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian not just against attack, but against leakage. What is meant for you does not need approval from everyone else. You may feel a strange calm after hearing this, or even a quiet excitement. That is alignment. Fear is loud. Alignment is peaceful. Trust that peace. It is confirmation. As the days unfold, watch how conversations line up, how timing becomes precise, how interruptions turn meaningful. This is not coincidence. This is choreography. Heaven is moving pieces into place with exactness. Hold on, because what unfolds next will bring even deeper clarity about how to respond when the moment arrives, and you will want to be ready for that understanding. Chosen one, there is a deeper layer to this moment that must be revealed now, because what is coming to your door is not only about addition, it is about correction. God says this visit will realign something that went off course long ago. A misunderstanding, a missed connection, a decision made with limited information, or a separation that never should have lasted this long. Heaven is not just bringing you something new. It is restoring divine order. This is why the timing feels emotional. You may notice old feelings resurfacing without warning, not to weaken you, but to prepare you. God often heals by revisiting, not to reopen wounds, but to finally close them properly. The miracle attached to this visit carries emotional intelligence. It knows where you were hurt. It knows where you adapted incorrectly just to survive. Archangel Michael stands present again because restoration requires courage. When God corrects direction, He also removes what no longer belongs. Some attachments will feel lighter. Some desires will lose their grip. Some questions will no longer demand answers. This is not loss. This is alignment. Hear this clearly. The person or situation approaching your life is not coming to take from you, but to unlock you. You have been functioning below capacity in certain areas because you learned to protect yourself by staying guarded. God is about to show you that protection and walls are not the same thing. Walls blot miracles. Protection invites them safely. This encounter will carry truth, and truth can feel uncomfortable before it feels freeing. Do not resist it. The Lord says, "What I am revealing now would have crushed you before, but today, you are strong enough to receive it." Strength is not loud. Strength is staying open without becoming bitter. You are not being tested to fail. You are being trusted to handle more. There is also a prophetic warning here. Do not let familiarity make you careless. Sometimes we miss miracles not because they are hidden, but because they feel normal. Pay attention to what stands out subtly. Notice what lingers in your thoughts afterward. God often speaks through what remains, not what shocks. Archangel Michael confirms that this visit hath been protected from sabotage. Conversations that were supposed to break down will flow. Misunderstandings will dissolve faster than expected. Favor will speak where logic cannot. This is divine assistance, not human persuasion. You may feel a strong urge to explain yourself during this time. Resist that urge. Let God be your defender. Over-explaining drains authority. Peaceful confidence attracts trust. The miracle responding to this moment is activated by stillness, not striving. God says your obedience in the small things unlock this door. When you chose integrity over convenience, when you forgave without an apology, when you kept going even when no one clapped. These were not wasted acts. They were seeds. And now the harvest is knocking. This is also connected to your household, your environment, or the space you call home. God is shifting what is allowed access to you. What once drained you will no longer have permission. What once felt heavy will lift. There is a reason the word door keeps repeating. Authority is changing hands. Let this settle into your spirit. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not overlooked. You are positioned. And now, receive this activation. Type I receive divine alignment in the comments if this message is bearing witness in your spirit. Blessing code 944 has just been released. This message is reaching you because God intends it to reach many others who are still confused, discouraged, and standing at closed doors without understanding why. Every time this word is shared, supported, and strengthened, it becomes like for someone else sitting in darkness. Scripture declares that when seed is sown into good ground, it multiplies beyond what the sower can see. I feel led to tell you directly, your obedience in supporting this mission unlocks encounters for people you may never meet, but heaven will remember. If this word stirred you, then act as the Spirit leads. Release your support through Super Thanks, channel membership, or PayPal, with the link placed in the description. This is not a donation. It is a prophetic response. As you sow, I speak blessing over your house, clarity over your decisions, and acceleration over delayed promises. Do it now, without hesitation, because obedience carries timing, and timing carries reward. My dear one, now the Spirit draws your attention to something crucial that must not be overlooked. As this moment approaches, God is not only preparing what will come to you, He is also preparing you for what will remain after it happens. Miracles are not just events, they are assignments. And what is about to touch your life will require wisdom to steward, not just excitement to receive. You may feel an internal tension right now, as if part of you is ready to move forward while another part is cautious. This is not confusion. This is discernment being sharpened. God is teaching you how to move without rushing and how to trust without surrendering wisdom. Balance is being formed in you, and balance is a sign of maturity. There is something important heaven wants you to understand. Not every door that opens is meant to be walked through immediately. Some doors are open so you can see what God has prepared, not to rush in blindly. Timing still matters, even after confirmation. The enemy cannot stop what God is doing, but impatience can damage what is meant to last. This is why your spirit hath been trained in waiting. Waiting was not punishment. It was conditioning. You were learning how to hear God clearly without needing constant reassurance. You were learning how to sit with unanswered questions without losing faith. As strength is about to serve you well. As this visit draws closer, you may notice an increase in clarity. Thoughts that once felt foggy will sharpen. Decisions that felt heavy will suddenly feel simple. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. When alignment happens, clarity follows. God says something you once thought you needed may quietly fall away. Do not panic when that happens. Sometimes the miracle is not adding more, but removing what is unnecessary. Reduction can be divine. Simplification can be holy. Space is being created so what truly belongs can stay. There is also a gentle warning here. Avoid the temptation to replay old narratives in your mind. The story you told yourself during painful seasons is not the story you are meant to live in this next one. Survival language does not belong in a season of expansion. Update your expectations. Update your prayers. Update your self-talk. Heaven is inviting you into cooperation, not control. Control says, I must manage every outcome. Cooperation says, I trust God to guide my steps. The miracle attached to this visit flows best when your hands are open, not clenched. You may also notice people responding to you differently. Some will feel drawn to you without knowing why. Others may pull back without explanation. This is a natural response to spiritual shift. Do not chase validation. Let alignment do its work. Those meant to walk with you will recognize the grace on your life. God reminds you that humility will be your greatest protection. Not shrinking, not doubting, but staying teachable. Pride repels instruction. Humility attracts favor. Remain grounded, even as elevation begins. There is peace being offered to you now, not the kind that ignores reality, but the kind that trusts God within it. Accept that peace. It will guard your reactions when emotions try to rise. It will steady your voice when conversations matter. It will anchor you when everything begins to move quickly. This season is not about proving anything. It is about positioning. You do not need to convince anyone of what God is doing. The fruit will speak louder than explanations ever could. Take note of this. Gratitude will unlock the fullness of what is coming. Gratitude before manifestation is a powerful act of faith. Thank God not only for what He has done, but for what He is about to do. Gratitude shifts atmospheres. As you move through the coming days, keep your heart soft and your mind alert. Stay faithful in routine things. Miracles often arrive when life looks ordinary. Stay present. Stay prayerful. Stay receptive. What is approaching you is not fragile, but it is sacred. Treat it with reverence, not fear. Joy is allowed here. Expectancy is encouraged here. Rest is permitted here. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into order. Divine order. And as this unfolds, you will begin to understand why everything had to happen exactly the way it did. The delays, the detours, the silence, all of it was shaping this moment. Remain steady. What comes next will deepen this understanding even more, and it will help you recognize the signs when they appear. Beloved one, now the Spirit draws you even closer, because what is unfolding next is about awareness. God is sharpening your spiritual senses so you do not misinterpret the moment when it arrives. Many people miss divine shifts not because God did not act, but because they expected Him to move loudly. This time, the miracle will move quietly, yet decisively. You are entering a phase where intuition will matter more than impulse. God is training you to pause, to feel, to discern before reacting. That inner nudge you sometimes feel, the sudden clarity that interrupts your thoughts, the calm certainty that settles without explanation, that is not imagination. That is guidance. Learn to honor it. There will be moments soon where you feel prompted to say yes without having all the details. This is not recklessness. This is trust being activated. Faith does not always come with a full map. Sometimes it only comes with the next step illuminated. Take that step. At the same time, God is also teaching you when to say no without guilt. Discernment is not only about recognizing opportunity, it is also about recognizing distraction. Not everything that looks good is God. Not everything that sounds urgent deserves your attention. Peace will be your filter. You may notice that your tolerance for chaos is decreasing. Situations that once felt normal may suddenly feel draining. Conversations that once entertained you may now feel empty. This is not judgment. This is growth. Your spirit is outgrowing environments that cannot sustain where you are going. God says your emotional boundaries are being strengthened. You will no longer feel responsible for fixing what you did not break. You will no longer carry burdens that were never assigned to you. This is freedom, not selfishness. When you are aligned, you become more effective, not less compassionate. There is also a recalibration happening in how you view yourself. Old labels are losing their authority. Words spoken over you in moments of ignorance or pain are being dismantled. You are beginning to see yourself through clarity instead of criticism. The shift is necessary, because what is coming requires confidence rooted in truth, not insecurity masked as humility. The miracle approaching your door will require you to show up fully, not hiding behind past versions of yourself. God is not inviting who you used to be. He is inviting who you have become. Do not shrink to fit familiar expectations. Expansion may feel unfamiliar, but it is holy. You might feel moments of loneliness even as alignment increases. This is temporary. When seasons change, there is often a quiet space between what was and what will be. Do not rush to fill that space. Let it shape you. Stillness is forming strength. God also warns against overthinking signs. Not every detail needs to be decoded. Trust will do more for you than constant analysis. When something is from God, it will come with peace, even if it challenges you. Anxiety is not a confirmation tool. Peace is. You are being invited into deeper rest. Rest does not mean inactivity. It means reliance. Stop carrying outcomes in your mind before they arrive. Release the need to rehearse conversations or predict reactions. God is already present in the moment you are worried about. Let Him handle what you cannot control. As this season progresses, your prayers will change. They will become simpler, but stronger. Less begging, more agreement. Less fear, more authority. This is maturity. God trusts you with partnership, not just petitions. There is a refining happening in your speech as well. Words will matter more. What you say casually will carry weight. Be mindful. Speak life. Speak truth. Avoid negative forecasting, even in jest. Language creates atmosphere. You are not walking into confusion. You are walking into clarity that unfolds step by step. Be patient with the process. Sudden acceleration is coming, but it will not feel chaotic. It will feel right. God says the miracle at your door is not meant to overwhelm you, but to empower you. It will not steal your peace. It will anchor it. It will not complicate your life. It will simplify it by aligning priorities. Remain attentive, not tense. Expectant, not anxious. You are not waiting for God to move. God is waiting for you to recognize when He does. And as this awareness grows, you will begin to notice patterns aligning, confirmations appearing naturally, and resistance fading without confrontation. This is how divine order manifests. Hold this posture. What comes next will reveal how everything connects, and why this moment could not have come any other way. Beloved child, now the Spirit speaks with even greater precision, because what you are approaching is a turning of responsibility. God is not only bringing something to you, He is inviting you to carry something forward. This is where many people become afraid, not because the blessing is too big, but because it requires consistency after the moment passes. God wants you to understand that you are ready for this. You may have noticed recently that you are thinking differently. You pause before reacting. You reflect before responding. You feel less urgency to prove yourself. This is not weakness. This is authority settling in. Authority does not rush. Authority knows when to move and when to wait. God says the reason this visit is so significant is because it marks the end of a cycle of preparation. For a long time, you were learning internally while nothing changed externally. Now the internal growth is about to meet external confirmation. What you carried in silence is about to show fruit in the open. But here is the instruction. Do not try to oppress the moment. Let the moment reveal you. You do not need to exaggerate your story, your pain, or your faith. Authenticity will speak louder than performance. The miracle responds to truth, not theatrics. You may feel tempted to rush results once things begin moving. Resist that temptation. Speed does not equal success. Precision does. God's pace is intentional. Stay aligned with it. Do not compare your timeline with anyone else's. Comparison pulls you out of grace and into pressure. There is also a release happening in how you relate to God. Fear-based obedience is being replaced with trust-based obedience. You are no longer obeying because you are afraid of losing something, but because you trust God with everything. This shift changes the atmosphere around your life. You will notice that your prayers feel more conversational now, less scripted, more honest. That is intimacy growing. God delights in that. He is not interested in perfection. He is interested in presence. This season will also test your ability to stay grounded when affirmation comes. Compliments, recognition, or validation may increase. Accept them with gratitude, not identity. Your worth was established before anyone noticed you. Keep that foundation firm. God says there is a mantle of peace being placed on you. Situations that once would have rattled you will no longer have the same power. This peace is not passive, it is authoritative. It will guard your decisions and protect your clarity. Be mindful of who you allow to speak into your life during this time. Not everyone who has access should have influence. Counsel matters. Choose voices that align with truth, not fear. Now pause for a moment and engage with this word. If this message is resonating deeply, like this video so it can reach others who are standing in a similar season. Share it with someone who needs clarity instead of confusion. Leave a comment declaring what you are believing God for, because agreement strengthens faith. Subscribe to the channel so you stay connected to these timely messages, and join the membership if you feel led, because deeper guidance is being released for those walking closely in this journey. You not disengage now, because what is coming next will help you recognize the subtle confirmations God is about to send your way. God also warns against spiritual fatigue. Even good waiting can be tiring. Rest is not optional. It is strategic. Take care of your body. Protect your mind. Joy is part of obedience too. Laughter restores strength. You are not required to have everything figured out. You are required to stay faithful with what you know. God reveals more as you move, not before. Light meets you on the path, not at the starting line. There will be moments where you feel stretched. That is expansion. Do not confuse stretching with strain. Strain comes from resisting growth. Stretching comes from embracing it. God says your discernment is strong enough now to recognize what is for you and what is not. Trust that. You do not need to second-guess every decision. Confidence rooted in prayer is safe. As this unfolds, you may feel a renewed sense of purpose. Not ambition, but clarity. Purpose brings the peace. Ambition brings restlessness. What God is releasing is purposeful, not pressuring. Stay humble. Stay grateful. Stay alert. You are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into revealed timing. And soon, what hath been forming quietly will become undeniable. Remain here in this posture, because the next revelation will connect the signs you have already been seeing and explain why they are increasing now. Beloved one, now the Spirit invites you into deeper understanding, because the signs around you are not random. They are increasing because the moment is approaching. God does not rush His children, but He does alert them. What you are noticing lately, the repetitions, the confirmations, the sense that something is aligning, is heaven gently tapping your shoulder, saying, "Pay attention now." You may have felt a heightened sensitivity in recent days. Sounds feel louder, silence feels deeper, emotions feel closer to the surface. This is not instability. This is awareness being activated. When God prepares to move externally, He heightens perception internally. You are being tuned, not shaken. God says you are learning how to live led, not pushed. But people move out of pressure. Let people move out of peace. This distinction matters now more than ever. A miracle approaching your door will not demand panic. It will invite agreement. It will not force you. It will align with you. There is something important you must hear clearly. You are not responsible for making this miracle happen. Release that weight. Your responsibility is readiness, not orchestration. God handles timing. God handles people. God handles outcomes. Your role is obedience in the present moment. You may feel a strong desire to clean, organize, simplify, or reset parts of your life. This is not coincidence. Preparation often shows up practically before it shows up spiritually. Make space. Clear distractions. Order invites clarity. God is also aggressing your expectations. He says, "Do not expect pain where I have planned peace." Some of you became so accustomed to struggle that you unconsciously associate breakthrough with stress. This time will be different. This miracle will feel gentle, even if its impact is massive. Do not misinterpret gentleness as weakness. God's power is often quiet. Creation itself did not arrive with noise, but with command. What is coming will settle into your life naturally, as if it always belonged there. That is how you will know it is from God. There is also healing happening in how you view authority. Authority no longer feels threatening to you. You are learning that healthy authority protects rather than controls. The shift will help you receive what God sends without fear of losing yourself. God says you are no longer driven by the need for approval. That need has been replaced with alignment. You would rather be right with God than popular with people. This is maturity, and it protects destiny. As the moment draws nearer, you may feel less talkative about your plans. This is wisdom. Silence preserves strength. Let your life speak when the time is right. There may be moments when impatience tries to creep in again. When that happens, return to gratitude. Gratitude anchors you in the present and reminds you that God has already been faithful. The same God who carried you this far will not fail at the door. God wants you to understand something very clearly. This miracle is not fragile. You cannot ruin it by being human. You cannot miss it by being imperfect. God factored your humanity into His plan. What He requires is sincerity, not flawlessness. You are being prepared to receive without fear of loss. In the past, good things may have been followed by disappointment, so you learn to brace yourself. God says, You do not need to brace yourself anymore. This blessing is rooted, not temporary. Watch how peace follows your decisions now. That peace is confirmation. You no longer need dramatic signs. Subtle alignment is enough. God is also teaching you how to rest while things are unfinished. This is trust at a deeper level. Rest says, I believe God is working even when I cannot see it. That belief will sustain you beyond this moment. You may also sense that certain conversations are being delayed. That is intentional. Timing matters. When words are released too early, they lose power. God is holding some things back to protect their impact. Remain gentle with yourself. Growth does not mean pressure-free living, but it does mean supported living. You are not walking alone. Heaven is involved. The miracle approaching your door is not isolated. It is connected to a chain of future moments. One yes will lead to another. One open door will reveal the next. Do not try to see the entire path at once. Walk step by step. God says your obedience has already impressed heaven. Now, heaven is responding. Stay in this posture of readiness without strain, expectancy without anxiety, faith without force. Because what comes next will not only confirm what you have been sensing, it will also reveal why this miracle needed you to become who you are now in order to receive it. Beloved child, now we arrive at a sacred threshold, because what heaven wants to reveal next is not only about what is coming, but about why it is coming now. God says timing is not random, and your life is not drifting. Every delay, every pause, every unanswered prayer was positioning you for precision. This miracle could not arrive earlier without harming you, and it cannot arrive later without withholding joy. Now is the appointed moment. You have crossed an internal line. You no longer beg God to move. You trust Him to move wisely. That shift is everything. Faith has matured into assurance. Hope has matured into confidence. This is why the door is about to open. God says the visit approaching your life will confirm something you have long suspected but never fully believed about yourself. It will affirm your value, your discernment, your growth. Not through flattery, but through alignment. You will realize you were never as lost as you feared. You were being guided quietly. There is also a release of authority happening now. Authority does not announce itself. It's settled. You may notice that you no longer feel the need to defend your choices. You explain less. You react less. You trust more. This is not detachment. This is stability. Archangel Michael stands watch again in this moment, because authority attracts attention in the unseen realm. But do not be alarmed. You are not under threat. You are under covering. What God releases with authority, He protects with strength. God says this miracle will touch more than one area of your life. It will have a ripple effect. One answered prayer will unlock another. One door opening will cause several others to follow. This is multiplication, not addition. You may feel a mix of excitement and sobriety. That is healthy. Joy keeps you open. Sobriety keeps you wise. Together, they form stewardship. You are not just receiving. You are learning how to keep. God also corrects a misunderstanding you may have carried. You thought that being chosen meant being separated in loneliness. But now you will see that being chosen also means being connected correctly. The right people will recognize you without you explaining yourself. The right conversations will feel natural, not forced. The season will not demand you abandon who you are. It will refine who you are. You are not becoming someone else. You are becoming clearer. There is a calm confidence settling over you now. Let it stay. Do not replace it with urgency. Urgency is not faith. Readiness is faith. God says some of you will recognize the miracle not by fireworks, but by relief, a deep breath, a quiet knowing, a sense of, this is it. Trust that recognition. God speaks through peace more often than through noise. And I'll receive this activation with intention. Type I receive divine timing in the comments if your spirit agrees with this word. Blessing code 1811 is now activated. This word is not only for you. It is meant to reach those who are still standing at closed doors, questioning God's silence. When you support this message, you are not supporting a channel. You are participating in heaven's distribution system. Scripture says that those who water will themselves be watered, and I declare that as you release support, God will release clarity, provision, and peace into your life. I am speaking to you directly now. If this message strengthened your faith, then respond with action. Sow through Super Thanks, activate your membership, or give through PayPal using the link in the description. This is a prophetic act, not a transaction. As you give, I speak blessing over your home, alignment over your steps, and open doors over your future. You it now, without delay, because obedience in moments like this carries uncommon reward. Beloved one, as the atmosphere settles after what has been released, God now draws your attention to the days immediately following the moment you have been prepared for. What happens after the door opens matters just as much as the opening itself. Many receive miracles, but few are taught how to walk forward without slipping back into old patterns. This is where wisdom becomes your companion. You may notice that after the initial confirmation, life does not suddenly become perfect. That does not mean the miracle failed. It means God is inviting you into partnership. Miracles shift direction, not responsibility. You are stepping into a season where grace empowers effort, not replaces it. God says you are learning how to move without emotional extremes, no longer swinging between excitement and discouragement. Stability is being formed in you. Stability is proof that healing has taken root. When your emotions no longer control your decisions, your future becomes clearer. There may be moments when you feel tempted to look back, to compare what is happening now with what you imagined would happen. Release comparison immediately. Comparison blurs gratitude. Gratitude sharpens vision. What God is doing may look different than your expectations, but it will be better than your assumptions. This season will require intentional focus, not pressure but priority. God is teaching you how to guard what He has given without becoming defensive. Guarding means valuing. Valuing means nurturing. Nurturing means consistency. You may also feel a renewed sense of responsibility toward your words. Speak carefully in this season, not fearfully but thoughtfully. Words carry momentum now. Bless what God is growing. Do not criticize what is still forming. God says you are stepping into a phase where discernment replaces suspicion. In the past, you may have questioned motives out of self-protection. Now, discernment allows you to see clearly without becoming guarded. This is emotional maturity, and it protects relationships that matter. There will be new opportunities to respond differently than you would have before. Old triggers may appear, but they will not have the same power. This is how you will know growth has occurred. Healing does not mean triggers disappear. It means they no longer control you. God reminds you to stay teachable. Even in blessing, humility keeps doors open. Listen before responding. Learn before leading. Authority rooted in humility attracts trust. You may also notice a shift in how you spend your time. Certain distractions will lose appeal. This is not loss. This is refinement. Your focus is aligning with your calling. Time stewardship will become more important now. What you give attention to will grow. God says do not underestimate small obediences in this season. Returning a call, showing up on time, keeping your word. These are not minor details. They are building blocks. Consistency will protect the miracle from erosion. There is also a deeper peace being offered to you. Not excitement-based peace, but anchored peace. Accept it. Do not trade it for noise. Silence will become a place of strength for you, not emptiness. You may feel moments of emotional release as well. Tears without sadness. Laughter without reason. This is your nervous system adjusting to safety. You are learning that good things can stay. That trust is not dangerous. That joy does not have to be temporary. God says you no longer need to rehearse worst-case scenarios. That habit belonged to survival mode. You are no longer surviving. You are building. Builders plan with hope, not fear. There may be people who struggle to recognize the new you. That is okay. You are not responsible for updating everyone's expectations. Let your consistency speak. Let your peace speak. Over time, alignment becomes undeniable. God also warns against spiritual isolation after blessing. Stay connected. Stay accountable. Growth thrives in healthy community. Isolation may feel comfortable, but connection keeps you balanced. You are being invited to celebrate without guilt. In the past, joy may have felt risky, as if something bad would follow. God says joy is safe now. Rejoicing honors Him. Gratitude multiplies grace. As the days unfold, continue to check in with God, not out of fear, but out of relationship. Ask, listen, respond. This rhythm will sustain you. You are not walking into uncertainty. You are walking into revealed purpose, one step at a time. Hold steady, because what comes next will prepare you for how to protect, grow, and multiply what has been placed into your hands. Beloved child, now the Spirit speaks about momentum, because what God initiates, He also sustains, but He does not override your participation. Momentum is not something you force. It is something you protect. This next phase is about maintaining alignment after movement begins, so that what started in peace continues in peace. You may notice that things begin to move faster now. Decisions come quicker. Opportunities appear closer together. Conversations carry more weight. This is not chaos. This is flow. But flow requires awareness. When God accelerates, He also sharpens focus. Distraction becomes more costly in seasons of momentum. God says this is where discipline becomes a gift, not a burden. Simple routines will anchor you. Prayer, reflection, rest, and consistency will keep you steady. Do not abandon what kept you grounded just because things are improving. Foundations matter more when elevation begins. There may be moments when you feel stretched between gratitude for what God is doing and responsibility for what He has entrusted to you. This is normal. Gratitude keeps your heart soft. Responsibility keeps your actions aligned. Old Bo. God also speaks clearly here. Do not confuse momentum with pressure. Pressure weighs. Momentum carries. If something feels frantic, pause. If something feels peaceful, proceed. Peace is still your compass. You are also learning how to say yes without overcommitting. Just because doors open does not mean you must walk through all of them. Discernment remains essential. Ask God not just, is this good? But is this mine now? There may be a temptation to return to old habits when things feel unfamiliar. Familiarity can feel safer than growth. Resist that pull. You did not come this far to shrink back into comfort zones that once limited you. God says your identity is stabilizing. You are no longer defined by struggle, delay, or lack. You are learning how to carry blessing without guilt and responsibility without fear. This balance is rare, and it is being formed intentionally. As momentum builds, communication becomes important. Speak clearly. Listen carefully. Misunderstandings are easier to correct early than later. Wisdom avoids unnecessary conflict by addressing things gently and promptly. You may also notice that your prayer life shifts again. Less asking for direction, more asking for wisdom. Less crying out, more thanking. This is not distance from God. This is closeness. Trust changes the tone of relationship. God reminds you to celebrate progress, even when it feels small. Do not wait for everything to be complete before you acknowledge growth. Celebration strengthens faith. Recognition fuels perseverance. Now take a moment and actively engage with what God is doing here. Like this video so the message continues to reach those who need it. Share it with someone who may be navigating a similar season of movement and uncertainty. Leave a comment declaring what you are trusting God to sustain, because spoken faith builds agreement. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and stay connected to this flow of timely guidance. If you feel led, join the membership as well, because deeper insights are released for those who choose to walk closely in this journey. Before you move on, stay right here mentally, because what unfolds next will help you understand how to protect this momentum from subtle spiritual fatigue. God also warns against comparison during seasons of progress. Others may seem further ahead or moving differently. That has nothing to do with your assignment. Your pace is custom designed. Stay in your lane. Grace flows there. Rest remains important. Momentum does not eliminate the need for rest. It increases it. Rest keeps you sensitive. Exhaustion dulls discernment. Do not glorify burnout. God does not rush his vessels until they break. You are being trained to think long-term now. Short-term thinking reacts. Long-term thinking plans. God is expanding your vision beyond immediate results. What you are building is meant to last. There may be moments when old fears attempt to resurface, whispering that this will not last. Recognize that voice for what it is, residue, not reality. Do not partner with it. Replace it with truth. God says you are learning how to walk by confirmation, not emotion. Emotions fluctuate. Confirmation angers. Return to what God has already spoken when doubts arise. Stay grateful. Stay grounded. Stay obedient. You are not running ahead of God. You are moving with him. And what comes next will bring even greater clarity about how to guard your heart, your mind, and your purpose as everything continues to unfold. Beloved one, now the Spirit turns your attention inward again, because as external movement continues, internal stewardship becomes essential. God says this season will reward those who know how to guard their heart without closing it. Sensitivity is not weakness, unmanaged sensitivity is. You are learning the difference now. You may notice that you feel things more deeply than before. Joy feels fuller. Disappointment feels sharper. Awareness feels stronger. This is not imbalance. This is depth. God has expanded your capacity, and with greater capacity comes greater responsibility to manage what enters your inner world. God is teaching you how to process, not suppress. In the past, you may have buried emotions to survive. Now, survival mode is ending. Processing allows healing to finish its work. When feelings surface, do not judge them. Observe them. Bring them into the light of prayer, not the shadow of avoidance. This is also a season of refinement in thought patterns. Certain mental habits that once protected you are no longer necessary. Overthinking, self-doubt, and constant self-correction are losing their function. God is replacing them with trust and clarity. Let that transition happen naturally. You may notice that silence becomes more valuable to you now. Not the silence of loneliness, but the silence of clarity. Silence allows truth to rise without competition. Do not fear quiet moments. They are where alignment deepens. God says your discernment is becoming relational, not defensive. You no longer scan rooms for threat. You sense atmospheres for alignment. The shift allows connection without compromise. You can be open without being vulnerable to harm. This is maturity. There may be moments when you feel misunderstood again. Growth often outpaces explanation. Do not rush to correct perceptions. Time will do that for you. Your consistency will speak louder than clarification ever could. God also reminds you to keep your inner dialogue kind. How you speak to yourself matters now more than ever. Harsh self-talk creates resistance. Gentle truth creates growth. Replace accusation with compassion. God is patient with you. Mirror that patience inwardly. You are also learning how to release outcomes emotionally, not just spiritually. Trust is not complete until your emotions agree with your prayers. When anxiety tries to return, pause and ask yourself what you are actually afraid of losing. Often, it is control, not security, and control was never yours to carry. God is building resilience in you, not the kind that hardens, but the kind that bends without breaking. Flexibility will serve you well in this next phase. Rigidity limits movement. Trust allows adjustment. You may feel a stronger pull toward purpose-driven choices now. Entertainment that once distracted may feel empty. Conversations without depth may feel draining. This is alignment, not isolation. Your spirit is craving substance. God says do not confuse refinement with restriction. He is not narrowing your life. He is focusing it. Focus multiplies impact. Scattered energy weakens progress. This is also a season where forgiveness deepens. Not necessarily because new offenses occurred, but because old residue surfaces. Let it go. Forgiveness now is less about others and more about freeing your future from the weight of the past. You may notice that gratitude feels more natural. That is healing. Gratitude flows easily when fear loses its grip. Let gratitude become a habit, not a reaction. God says your relationship with Him is shifting again. Less transactional, more relational. You are no longer approaching Him only when you need something. You are learning to enjoy His presence. This intimacy will anchor you when circumstances fluctuate. There will be moments when you are tempted to disengage emotionally to avoid potential disappointment. Resist that urge. Protection through numbness blocks joy as well. God is teaching you safe openness. You are not required to anticipate every challenge ahead. You are required to trust God within each one. Anticipation creates anxiety. Presence creates peace. As this phase continues, check your alignment regularly. Not through fear, but through awareness. Ask simple questions. Is this bringing peace? Is this drawing me closer to God? Is this consistent with who I am becoming? God says you are no longer reacting to life. You are responding with wisdom. That shift changes everything. Remain gentle. Remain grounded. Remain open. Because what comes next will bring completion, blessing, and confirmation that heaven has indeed been behind every step of this journey. My beloved child, now we arrive at the closing seal of this message, and heaven speaks with clarity and finality. What God promised, he has fulfilled. What he prepared, he has delivered. What he guarded, he now releases into your hands with trust. This is not an ending, it is a commissioning. The visit you were warned about was never just about a moment. It was about a shift in authority. God says you are no longer standing at the threshold. You have crossed it. What once felt distant now feels accessible. What once felt heavy now feels manageable. This is not because life became easier, but because you became stronger. There is a calm settling over you now, and that calm is confirmation. Anxiety has lost its voice. Doubt has lost its authority. You are not waiting for permission anymore. You are walking in alignment. Heaven responds differently to aligned people. Doors open without force. Provision flows without panic. Favor rests without striving. God says the miracle that came to your door has already done its deepest work inside you. External results will continue to unfold, but the internal transformation was the real victory. You now trust God without needing constant reassurance. You now move forward without rehearsing fear. You now rest without guilt. This is the mark of maturity. You may still face challenges ahead, but they will not define you. They will refine you. The difference now is that you will no longer interpret resistance as rejection. You will recognize it as confirmation that you are moving in the right direction. God says your life will now speak louder than your words. People will notice your peace before they hear your testimony. They will ask how you stayed steady, how you remained hopeful, how you moved forward without bitterness. And when they ask, you will know what to say, not because you rehearsed it, but because you lived it. You are entering a season of stewardship and overflow. What God has placed in your hands is meant to bless others, not burden you. Keep your heart open. Keep your spirit teachable. Keep your gratitude active. Gratitude will protect what has been released. There is also a divine instruction here. Do not rush to the next thing. Honor what God has done. Sit with it. Let it root. Fruit that grows too fast does not last. What God has done in you is meant to endure. You may feel moments of holy awe, realizing how close you came to missing this had you chosen cynicism over faith. Thank God for protecting you from your own doubt. Thank Him for speaking when you needed clarity. Thank Him for sending confirmation at the right time. God says your obedience mattered. Your patience mattered. Your tears mattered. None of it was wasted. Now receive this final activation. Type "I walk in divine fulfillment" in the comments if you receive this word with faith. Blessing code 6069 is now released over your life. This message did not stop with you. God allowed you to hear it because He trusts you to help carry it forward. There are people right now praying for a sign, waiting for clarity, standing at their own doors in confusion. When you support this mission, you are helping heaven answer those prayers. I am speaking to you directly. This is your moment to act. So through Super Thanks, activate your channel membership. Give through PayPal using the link in the description. This is not about money, it is about obedience. Scripture declares that when seed is sown into good ground, the harvest returns pressed down, shaken together, and running over. As you give, I declare open heavens over your home, multiply provision over your resources, and divine protection over your future. Do it now. Do not delay. This is a prophetic response, not a suggestion. Heaven is watching your obedience, and heaven always responds. This message is sealed. God has spoken, and what He has begun, He will complete.